I've spent most of the day trying to track down medical professionals who could give an opinion about the execution last night that was botched. I talked to an anesthesiologist from Oklahoma City who talked about the term blown vein and what exactly that means. He wanted to describe it as a failure to achieve adequate IV access. And talked about, we don't know a lot about what happened last night yet. We don't know specifically what arm it was in. We don't know what even, DOC means about blown vein. And so it's hard, in part, for them to comment on it because we don't know exactly. But what he did talk about was that, and what he and other experts talk about is when you have a blown vein or, then you lose that control of where the drugs are going. And so you have these 3 drugs that are entered during execution. The first one, midazolam, is basically to make the person fall asleep. One expert I talked to talked about how that drug is given, this mixture drug is given in part for the person because, with execution it can't be cruel and inhumane. And then also for the audience that's watching. Generally you don't want the audience to see the person writhing and convulsing, similar to what he was doing last night. So one expert I talked to talked about how when you have a blown vein and you put these drugs in, you lose that concept of what they're going to do, and so you have things like what happened last night where you have his theory was that based on what media have reported that he had IVs in both arms, and so one vein blew in one arm, and so he might have gotten his full dose of midazolam. And that means he wouldn't have fallen completely asleep, and so then he would get the other 2 drugs, one that basically suppresses your diaphragm, makes you stop breathing. And then the last drug, potassium chloride, it is supposed to, essentially stop your heart. And so that is how they're all supposed to kind of work together. You could give someone, he talked about how you could just give someone potassium chloride, but you would see them feeling the burning throughout their body. And so that's why the mixture of the drugs is given the way it is. And unfortunately last night it didn't go how it would be planned for their intended use.